We once again turn back the hands of time to uncover the story of two invisible legends. In the heart of the Civil War, where brother fought against brother, two extraordinary women worked in the shadows to uncover Confederate secrets. Elizabeth Van Lew, a Richmond native born to a prominent merchant family, was a bold abolitionist who despised slavery. When war broke out, she immediately offered her services to the Union. Though dismissed at first, Van Lew was determined to aid the cause. She convinced General Ulysses Grant that a spy network in the Confederate capital could tip the balance for the North. Granted approval, Van Lew assembled a ring of devoted agents, planting them in key positions to intercept critical information. Van Lew's most valued partner was Mary Jane Richards, a fugitive slave who was secretly taught how to read and write as a child. Richards gained trust as a humble servant in the Confederate White House, all the while secretly observing confidential documents and conversations. She memorized troop numbers, battle plans, and supply routes, transmitting intelligence to Van Lew through a covert system of coded messages. Their mission grew ever more vital as the war dragged on. To uncover Confederate military plans and troop movements, intelligence crucial for Union victory. Together, the unlikely pair set out on a dangerous undercover operation that would save countless Northern lives. Posing as a simple maid, Richards used her invisibility to infiltrate the highest levels of the Confederate government. Daily, she tidied the office of Jefferson Davis himself, dusting cabinet files while memorizing secret communiques. She eavesdropped on the president's meetings, picking up vital details to relay to Van Lew. Meanwhile, Van Lew played the part of a charming socialite, hosting lavish dinners where loose-lipped Confederate officers let slip key information. All the while, a network of messengers delivered coded messages from Richards to Van Lew's mansion under cover of darkness. In her upstairs room, Van Lew ingeniously decoded the intelligence. Using a cipher system, she translated Richards' messages into usable troop positions, battle plans, and supply routes. Van Lew then covertly dispatched the deciphered texts to Union officers on the front lines. Her insider knowledge provided the North a significant advantage. Together, the daring duo facilitated the escape of numerous Union soldiers from Richmond's notorious Libby prison. In coordinated efforts, Richards smuggled aid and supplies while Van Lew arranged safe houses. They ensured imprisoned Northern troops reached freedom, returning to the fight. But as the war raged into its fourth bloody year, the stakes climbed higher. Suspicion swirled through the Confederate capital, officials sensing a damaging leak within their ranks. Yet despite the escalating dangers, Van Lew and Richards only strengthened their resolve. With Union victory hanging in the balance, the women fearlessly persevered in their high-risk mission. Van Lew continued welcoming Confederate officers to her home, coaxing out clandestine details between sips of brandy. Meanwhile, Richards kept up her act as the president's unassuming housekeeper, memorizing documents and conversations. Both knew they faced execution as spies if discovered, but the pair carried on courageously, willing to sacrifice their lives to save the Union they cherished. While others retreated in fear, Van Lew and Richards pressed forward, their network providing crucial intelligence that helped turn the tide of war. In time, the combined military pressure and internal dysfunction took its toll on the Confederacy. Its defenses collapsed under the siege of Union forces, equipped with Van Lew and Richards' inside knowledge. On a spring morning in 1865, the long and bloody Civil War finally came to a close. While jubilant crowds celebrated Union triumph, Van Lew and Richards' roles remained largely unseen, but their invaluable contribution had played a significant part in the victory. In the war's aftermath, they emerged from the shadows to continue impacting society. After the war ended, Van Lew employed her family's wealth to provide food, shelter, and education to newly freed slaves. Her mansion became a schoolhouse for African-American children to make up for decades of denied education. Richards also advocated for the downtrodden, demanding justice and opportunity for former slaves. She gave talks recounting her life experiences and lectures emphasizing education. Well into her 70s, Richards traveled, spreading her message of hope before passing in 1919 at 102 years old. Their legacy as the invisible heroes of the Civil War forever endures. Their courageous service in the shadows helped write the story of freedom and equality that continues to this day. Their remarkable story of courageous service has resonated through the generations, including inspiring, memorable films. The 1987 television movie, A Special Friendship, tells a fictionalized story of the friendship and pro-Union collaboration of Van Lew and her former slave Mary Bowser, aka Richards. Additionally, the 1990 television movie Traitor in My House presented Van Lew's story from the perspective of her niece. The film highlighted her daring efforts operating a spy ring under the nose of Confederate Richmond. Decades later, these and other retellings of the heroic actions by these two women continue to introduce Van Lew and Richards' dramatic tale to new audiences. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to receive notice for the next episode of Invisible Legends Reimagined.